Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're in the world today. If you are a returning subscriber, hey, welcome back. If you are new to this channel, welcome. I hope by the end of this video you do subscribe if you found good value and also can implement some of the things I'm going to be sharing in today's video. My name is Stephanie Wright, and I created this channel to just document and also share my journey with learning how to embrace my feminine energy and how it has led to my own personal growth and development through the practice of embracing my feminine energy and discovering who I am, embracing who I am, and exploring who I am so I can be the best version of myself with no shame, no doubt, no self-sabotage, and just live the life that I want to live. So let's get into today's video. So as you can tell by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about how embracing feminine energy led me to stop people pleasing. I do have a couple of points that I want to just talk on, so we stay on track. But if we digress, we just digress. I am an organic speaker, so whatever comes to my mind that I feel like, can relate to today's message is just going to come out and flow. So how embracing my feminine energy helped me stop people pleasing. I want to just start off by saying that a couple of months ago, what led me to start learning more about feminine energy and just digging deeper into me is I made the decision and choice to embrace the things that made me feel good. And the way I did that was I was on Shein one day and I was looking at some nightwear, and there was some really cute and sexy nightwear that I liked, and part of me was like, no, Stephanie, that's like too revealing, like who are you gonna wear that for? And it's like, no, you can wear it for yourself. So I went on and purchased a couple of pieces of like cute and sexy nightwear that I can wear here at night, some appropriate when my son is here and when he's not here, and you know, whether he's like with his dad or when he's like with his father for the summertime, I'll wear around the house. So when the pieces came in, I put them on, I felt so good, and I was just embracing how I felt. I was like having inner conversations with myself, like, Stephanie, how are you feeling right now? Like, allow the feeling that you're feeling inside to come out, to show. Like, allow that inner part of you, that inner you, inner her, to be explored out, like, well, not to be explored, but to show. And don't have no shame or no guilt about how you look in the pieces. If you feel sexy, embrace that. So that was like the start of me learning how to embrace my feminine energy and allow her to live out loud in reality. So my personal development journey, it's been an ongoing journey. It still is an ongoing journey, but it's one that I'm learning to embrace each and every day to get down to the root of some of the blockages that I have that has been preventing me from living the life that I want to live, and also being the woman who I truly am in my core. So I had wrote down some points on some things that I needed to get down to the nitty-gritty and find out the root of. And the number one thing was, where did my people pleasing stem from? What is the root of my people pleasing? So I asked myself, like, all right, Stephanie, like, where did this come from? So I allowed myself to not think too deep into the question, and the first thing that came to my mind was my childhood. I'm the oldest out of 5 children. I grew up with both my parents. Parents are lovable. They're caring parents. My mom is now deceased, God rest her soul, and my father is still here. But I just remember as a child growing up, my parents aren't perfect. You know, they went through their highs and lows, and I would try to be like their guide, their therapist. I tried to jump in and try to help mediate like any arguments that they would have, because I wanted to keep the peace. But I realized that, Stephanie, that wasn't your place. That wasn't your place to do. You didn't have to take on that energy. You didn't have to become a hero to try to resolve the issues that they needed to work on. You didn't have to take that on. You could have just remained as a child. But back then, as a child, I did not know that. So when I realized that that was the root of my people pleasing, I then started having deeper inner conversations with myself, saying like, all right, Stephanie, so this is the root of your people pleasing. What can you do today to cut off the people pleasing? How can you serve yourself and be of service to other people by quitting people pleasing and showing up as your best self for yourself and leading by example to help other people learn that, one, how to treat you, two, teach you how to treat you and how to show your self-respect and also show other people respect. So what I started to do too as an adult was, whenever I was asked, if someone asked me to do something, I checked in, older Stephanie checked in with little Stephanie. It's like I started talking to my younger self as my older self, asking her like, well, how do you feel about this? Is this something that you want to do? And I kind of kept the answers like either yes or no, and the responses, if they were long in that, cut them pretty short because I didn't have to elongate that. And that led me to learning more about my boundaries, setting new boundaries, and learning how to say no, knowing how to execute my no, and also reminding myself that if my no disappointed someone, you can observe their reaction, but don't absorb them, because those are not your feelings, those are not your emotions to take on, Stephanie. So then I kind of kept it simple. Like, I'm not sure if you can see the sign up here, but I have a poster up here that says keep it simple. And I don't like to overcomplicate things. So from just breaking down, like getting to the root of my people pleasing, asking myself the questions, whether, no matter how uncomfortable it made me, but I knew that if it led to me being uncomfortable because I wasn't prepared for the answers, it was allowing my breakthrough so that I can stop people pleasing. So asking the questions like, okay, how does this make you feel, Stephanie? Like talking to my younger self as my older self, to give her guidance, it just helped me start just to break down and dismantle the trait that I had for people pleasing. So that soon later on led to me learning more about setting boundaries and standing firm on my boundaries. I remember a couple of years ago, I really learned what it meant to set boundaries and stand on your boundaries, stand 10 toes down on your boundaries. I was out with my sister and my best friend. We was at a mall, and I had been driving around, and I was tired of driving. So I asked my sister, like, hey, can you drive? She's like, no. And then, like, I'm thinking she's joking. We get to the car, she hops in the back seat. I'm like, yo, can you drive? She's like, no. And I was like, yo, you are so mean, blah, blah. And, like, you know, she kind of had an attitude, too. But that's when I realized that my little sister taught me how and what it looks like to enforce and stand on your no and enforce your boundaries. I realized that I was manipulating her and trying to force her to do something that she did not want to do. I asked her something, she gave me a yes or a no. In this case, it was a no, and that was it. I should have stopped that there and respected her no. But no, I wanted to push, but then I realized within a couple of seconds that, you know what, Stephanie, you have to accept her no and not try to force her to do something that she does not want to do. So from that example and from that experience, that's how I also started to implement and standing on my no, implement my boundaries, tweak my boundaries. And whenever someone asks me to do something or asks me my opinion about something and had an objection, I stood on what I said, I stood on my no, and I just learned how to give my answer and just leave it at that. I also started to learn that I don't owe anybody an explanation for anything if I feel like they don't, you know? So if someone asks me like, hey, Stephanie, can you do this? And if it's like, I check in with myself, if it's something that, like, you know, something small and minute, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. But if it's something that instantly I feel like it is a nudge, like something doesn't feel right, or I honestly don't feel like doing it, I'm gonna say no. And if they ask why, depending on how I feel, honestly, I'm like, well, I don't feel like doing that. They're like, well, why you don't? And I'm like, you know, I just don't. And if that answer isn't good enough for them, I leave it at that. I'm not gonna overextend myself. I'm not gonna over-explain myself as to why I don't wanna do what you asked me to do because you are upset that I don't wanna do it. So that's how I learned how to enforce my boundaries. People are not, you're gonna have people that you encounter in your life that are not gonna respect your boundaries, but it's up to you that you stand 10 toes down on your boundaries and your no. You know what your boundaries are, and it's okay if you tweak them every now and then. If people have a problem with that, that's not your energy, that's not your problem to deal with. It's just not. So another thing I want to speak on too that relates to what helped me, how like embracing my feminine energy helped me stop people pleasing, is protecting my energy. Me standing on my no, me standing up for myself, me showing that I respect myself and letting people know and see that I respect myself helped me protect my energy. If anything felt off about like whether I was around somebody or, you know, I was having a certain conversation with somebody, it made me feel uneasy, I was like, you know what, I'll say to myself, I have these inner conversations with myself, like, Stephanie, how is this making you feel? Why do you feel this way? What do you want to do? Right? What will make you feel safe? Then once as I'm having these internal conversations with myself, I then proceed through action by excusing myself from the person or from the situation or from the conversation, because we allow certain energies to come in. We have control over that. And if you're ever in a situation where you feel uncomfortable or you feel like something is off, you have the power to remove yourself from that energy. So I'm not going to make this video too long. I just want to touch back on the points of how you can embrace your feminine energy to stop people pleasing if you struggle with people pleasing, by just going back to your childhood and figuring out, like, what is the root? What memory can you remember that led you to start people pleasing, start practicing this trait, this belief of people pleasing, and start asking yourself these simple questions like, why was I doing this? How did I feel? And then translating that into your current life. If it's anything, you know, you've experienced recently, just start asking like yourself, okay, I really didn't want to do this, but why? What forced me to do this? Why did I want to do this? But you have to also know that you matter. And I want to live off with this tidbit. When we grow up as children, the beliefs that are ingrained into us are beliefs of other people. So as we grow up, those beliefs come with us, but we have the power, we have the ability to address those beliefs that was adapted by our parents, our family, our friends, our teachers, dismantle them, and also create new beliefs based off our current life and the life that we want to live. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you subscribe, like, leave a comment below. We can have a conversation about it. And I really hope that today's message on learning how to embrace your feminine energy in order for you to stop people pleasing has been beneficial to you. And the tips and also the experiences that I shared with you all, you can implement into your own life. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Peace.